Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. As always, if you want to get social, the usual things, comments below, wee thumbs up is appreciated, sub if you haven't already, these drop in daily, and if you want to buy the game, links in the description below alongside my playlists, and of course any resources to get some mods, to get some other content creator stuff, please check them out. As I say, good community. Let's crack on. With today's episode, which is the Elimination Chamber, we are one night off where we were for your last video, which was the takeover the night before. This is an interesting show. There's quite a few decisions that were made at the last minute, because obviously I need to think, right, what do I want to do at Mania? So some of them are a bit iffy, some of them might pay off, but some of them are certainly bold. So we'll crack straight into the show. I can't remember where we're booking this show from. We are at the Angel Stadium, blame Angel Garza for me pronouncing it like that, of Anaheim, so in Anaheim, California. We're going to hopefully try and sell out close to 46,000. I think we'll just be under, as it suggests there. So, without further ado, this is the Elimination Chamber. Let's see how it goes down. 2 chamber matches, should be a good one. So just under what we were hoping for, 45,695 fans, and hopefully it came out a pay-per-view where I actually managed the crowd correctly. We started off with a matchup. It was a good matchup that saw Adam Cole get the shock victory over Drew McIntyre in 1935 with a flying crossbody following interference from Bobby Fish. I felt like Cole's one we need to try and rush up a wee bit and get him a bit closer to the top, so I just felt like giving him the victory here, obviously not clean thanks to interference from Bobby Fish, should hopefully put us in a good position to get him closer to the US title contention as well, and maybe even the main event. Obviously we can reflect that with the change in overness of various persons after the show. But at 75, Drew had to be protected, but after he was kind of kept strong, he was happy to put Adam Cole over. Got the crowd hotter, show off to a strong start. You can see the difference there in terms of in-ring performance, but a good win for Adam Cole nonetheless. After the matchup, we just have Adam Cole being chased by Drew McIntyre, and basically Adam Cole drives off and Drew McIntyre's in a car behind, just making sure he gets his hands on the leader of the Undisputed Era. A nice 72 here, just continuing this feud on. I'll probably have either some mad multi-man match or we'll just have a clean match between them at Wrestlemania, but really hoping to do something big with Adam Cole, and I know for a fact Aaron will be delighted if Adam Cole gets all the title belts in the future. Now it starts to get interesting. About the had decent reaction from the crowd and subpar wrestling, the underappreciated, of course, that Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn defeated Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker in 9:26 when Shinsuke Nakamura pinned Otis with a Shinskaza. I forgot how to say it, we'll just go with Shinsuke. He's not even used it that long, I can't even remember what it's called. I missed Corey Graves just calling it. That just shows you how bad WWE's booked Nakamura. I can't remember what his finisher was pronounced like. But anyway, we'll call it the running single leg high knee strike. But during the matchup, basically, we had Tucker turn on Otis. Sorry, I broke them up. I broke up a tag team. But underappreciated make the third defence of the tag title, so that keeps the belt on them. Otis is head and shoulders above the rest. But I just felt like the difference in overness and performance between Otis and Tucker is so big because of the push that Otis has had in real life and in the one he's had in game. So Tucker's obviously jealous and he's just pissed off with Otis. So the plan is Otis versus Tucker at WrestleMania. Let's try and get Tucker up to Otis's level. You never know, we could reform them back down the line. Also got the crowd hotter. The segment got a 71 rating, and the heel turn, which is a 10 segment, so I've been building it up, and that was a complete success. And after the matchup, we just have Tucker beating down Otis. He's got all these months and months of frustration because Otis has just cared about getting the title. Mandy Rose, no care for his partner, and it's a 68 rating for that. First up, in terms of Elimination Chambers, we had the IC title on the line, and it was a good matchup that saw Johnny Gargano defeat Matt Riddle, John Morrison, The Miz, Daniel Bryan and King Corbin in an Elimination Chamber match in 22:54. Eliminated first was The Miz, then it was John Morrison, then it was King Corbin, then Daniel Bryan, and finally Matt Riddle. But during the matchup we had Karrion Kross make his debut and run in and attack Daniel Bryan. Johnny Gargano, surviving the Elimination Chamber, makes the 13th defence of the IC title. We debut Karrion Kross in the main roster for Karrion Kross versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. And an 80 rating I'm absolutely delighted with as well, so hats off to the guys for that. Pretty good in terms of performances. Morrison was working through his injury, but I wanted him in there, and I'm absolutely buzzing for this feud here as Karrion Kross attacks Daniel Bryan more after the matchup, and it is an 85 rating. So let me know what you think about that for a WrestleMania matchup, but there's already potentially 3 matches booked in for Mania. It's going to be a long one. Next up, we had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling as Shayna Baszler defeated Liv Morgan in 720 with an armbar. It was the 4th defence of the Raw Women's title for Shayna. 67 rated matchup here, just keep Shayna looking strong, just gave Liv an opportunity. That was the whole real small storyline. Let's see how she does on pay-per-view. 67's not bad, she was carried well by Shayna, and that was also a storytelling matchup, so that could have been even better. Now we have a contract signing as we are going to determine who's going to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. And it is the former NXT Women's Champion, the winner of the Royal Rumble, Tessa Blanchard, and she is challenging Rhea Ripley, and Stephanie McMahon is doing the contract signing for it. So there's another match booked in for WrestleMania, Tessa versus Rhea. Who will come out as the SmackDown Women's Champion? That is going to be an absolute belter, hopefully. 69 rating for that. Next up, in a good matchup, we had Samoa Joe defeat Tommaso Ciampa in 13:59 with a Kikuina clutch. A 79 rating matchup is very respectable. Joe's just been on a tear here, his overness is quite high, and to have him pick up a great result like that can only boost his chances of getting closer to a championship fight. So I do want to try and get the title on Joe at least once before his physical decline destroys him. Next up, we've got a promo with Edge about his upcoming match with Andrade. Edge is getting a wee bit doubtful about himself. He's had a lot of recent losses, and he just says this is the one where he's going to prove he's still got it, and he's going to make sure that Zelina Vega doesn't get involved, and he's going to hopefully continue on in the WWE. That was in 84, and their matchup was good in 82, so pretty respectable. And a good match though, I had Andrade go over Edge in 12:16 with the Brilliante driver, following interference from Zelina Vega. So Edge was off his game. Great chemistry between Andrade and Zelina. Andrade's more over in this. You can take it 2 ways. I can either go Edge is doubtful going into WrestleMania and might retire, or does he go for a rematch with Andrade because of the Zelina interference. So it lets me go 2 ways rather than just go for a simple rematch at WrestleMania. So 82. And the good thing is as well, 6 weeks to build Mania, so plenty of time to get people over. Also in an 82, God, this show's actually went down quite well. Let's hope we don't burn the crowd out with it going so well so far. Been about a good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. We had Cesaro defeat both Austin Theory and Seth Rollins in a handicap match in 1858 when Cesaro pinned Austin Theory. Cesaro makes the 2nd defence of the WWE title. This was one where I wanted to give Theory a big exposure here with this type of matchup, but at the same time Cesaro needs to get the win over Rollins, but him and Rollins have already faced each other a set amount of times, or it would just, the rematch wouldn't keep going. So we go with that. In 82, it's so obvious I'm going Cesaro v Lesnar at WrestleMania, so a filler matchup, but good to try that, and really delighted with the 82 rating. With a few negatives as well, just the one negative actually, so many competitors. The very hot crowd though, let's get that crowd back down. So we tried to get the crowd down a little bit, and this match didn't even get them down, which is a bit worrying. But anyway, I had Chelsea Green defeat Ember in 8:14 by pinfall. It was just to give the Robert Stone brand a bit of exposure, and Chelsea being the main woman in that group, because obviously Jenny and Aaliyah are still making their way up in the company. But a good win for Chelsea at 48. Ember was off her game, Robert Stone doing some good work at ringside. So hopefully, the crowd is still hot, but hopefully we've kind of brought it down a wee bit. Because we had another Elimination Chamber match, this time for the United States Championship, and it was a decent matchup, and it saw Aleister Black defeat Keith Lee, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley and Angel Garza in the Elimination Chamber match in 26:05. Kevin Owens went first, then Bobby Lashley, then Finn Balor, then Angel Garza, then finally Keith Lee, meaning your new US champion, someone I didn't give a lot of title runs to, but I do want to try it in this, and that man is Aleister Black. Everyone had kind of good ratings there. Kevin Owens the weakest at 63, but off his game. So imagine if KO is in a normal performance, then they're all kind of in that 67 to 77 bracket. But it takes the title off Garza, and it means that if he can get a post-WrestleMania push to a higher level. So delighted with that. In terms of negatives, just KO. We then have The Fiend cutting a promo, so this is us heading to the main event for the Universal Championship. Just a 79 for Bray. But how will the main event go down? Because this one was a ballsy decision. And it's paid off an 86 rating. In a superb matchup, I had Braun Strowman defeat AJ Styles, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns in 1746 when Braun Strowman pinned AJ Styles with a standing triangle choke. Meaning, two-time Universal Champion, Braun Strowman. Let me know what you think of that. But he's really getting over. 85 performance for him and Bray, 72 AJ, 79 Roman. I just felt like it was good to get the belt off The Fiend. I didn't want him going to WrestleMania. It's like, there's only so many matches you can do with the title with The Fiend. It's like, let's actually use that as the gimmick. The Fiend is the gimmick for the match, rather than making it a title match. So, interestingly enough, the main event for WrestleMania, well, not the main event for Mania, but one of the matches will be me going against something that I usually stand for, as The Undertaker returned back from being buried alive to get his revenge on Braun Strowman, and that got an 86 rating. So, if somebody says that you don't need to put big people in title matches because they don't really need the title, and I'm going Undertaker versus Strowman for the Universal title, is that mad at the age of 55? Probably. Shouldn't have put him in a title match like that, but I've had an idea, and I don't know how people will find it, but we'll see how it goes down round about WrestleMania. Will Strowman just obliterate the Undertaker again, or is something going to happen? Overall, an 84 rating, and we increased our popularity in 34 regions, so we didn't burn the crowd out, but in terms of just the overall ratings of the show, that's probably one of our better ones, because if you take away the Chelsea Green match, which was just to try and blow the crowd down a wee bit and give her exposure, everything there's 70 roughly, around about that 65 mark. So overall, it's a thumbs up from me. Well, a lot of stuff booked in regards to WrestleMania already. So as always, we'll jump into the main screen, we'll see how the show done, and we'll give ourselves an idea of how the various overness in the wrestling world looks at with the aftermath of that. So I'm hoping Big Braun might get a big boost of overness from that show. So, that's not ideal to see. Oh, that's alright, I thought he passed away in game, he's just retiring. That's not too bad then, he's planning to leave the industry, that's fine. Fantastic reviews, so absolutely everyone delighted with the Elimination Chamber. Our Joshi show drew 1,000 fans, so that's good for them, they're really getting bigger now. You can see there, 108,000 people watched it. And the main event was Arisa Nakajima. I used her last year in TEW. So it's good to see that, as I say, the Joshi company is doing well. A couple of ours, as I say, our talents drafted there are really progressing. But it means we'll have just some really, really good technical women's wrestlers that we can bring across, and we can hopefully develop them through NXT and push them onto the main roster. Anything else there that directly affects us? Not that I can see. Mr. McMahon seems to be click building, having forged an alliance between Stephanie McMahon and The Undertaker. Interesting. Viewing figures was 3.6 million, and the pay-per-view buy rate was 1.7 million worth of buys, 3.41. Wesley Blake has entered a new work area, and Eddie Edwards had already joined NXT. There was a temptation to fire him in Undisputed Era and have him interfere, but I want him on NXT for a wee bit. I wonder if you can hear that rain in the background. Interesting if you can. Anyway, The Fiend is up a wee bit, he's up to an 86, even an 88, so in defeat, he's still managed to progress a little bit. Adam Cole's had a massive jump to 75 over. I judge it by the States in terms of overness because that's predominantly where we are, although, yeah, he's not really over anywhere else. But in the US, he's certainly over, which is weird because we were on pay-per-view everywhere, but that's what it is. AJ still at a decent level. Aleister Black, small gain there. Andrade, still in the mid-70s. Garza, roughly the same as he was at. Austin Theory, pretty much the same. Try to get through a lot of them as quickly as we can. Brock's, I say, a great level, so he should be good. Cesaro, I'm assuming you didn't increase at all? Nope, he's absolutely capped at 70, which is... well, it could make you cry if I'm being honest, because I wanted to give him the mega push. Daniel Bryan, 72. Drew McIntyre, still 83, so people are not losing overness, but people are gaining, which is good. Edge is back up to 70. Finn at 65, so because we're higher maybe in terms of size of company, that's why we're keeping most of the overness in some people. Gargano, a big win, remains at 80, so he might be capped out there. Karrion Kross, 60, so a win over Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania possibly could propel, but we'll try and get him up to 70 before Mania. Kevin Owens is still roughly down at the 60 mark, so Karrion Kross is about the same level as him. Matt Riddle still anywhere between 74 and 77. Miss Paige will try over, she's still at 58 so far. Has she gained anything since we've put her as manager? Nope, not at the moment. Who else can we check? Randy Orton wasn't on the show. Rhea Ripley, 60 odds, that's fair enough. Roman Reigns, 79 and 80s, that's perfectly fine. Sami Zayn, 66. Samoa Joe, 75s. Seth, still in the 80s, so I'm pretty respectable with that in terms of his American push. Shayna, 67. Nakamura get a big victory, 57. Otis, actually, I should probably check that, in the 70s as well. So hopefully, Tucker maybe gained a wee bit. Undertaker still sitting in the high 70s, he's actually the gain, because we obviously jobbed him out initially, so not bad, but we are going to utilise him against Strowman one more time. Tessa, mid 50s. Tommaso is stuck in the 70s. Tucker, have you gained any pop, Tucker? He'll gain, but probably should hopefully be a bit higher than that. And yeah, Zelina's not too bad. She's kind of high. She's gained a lot actually. She's gained about 15, so she's really benefiting from managing Andrade. And the best thing is she's 30, so you could effectively give her a 20-year managerial career, which is crazy. So that's us. That'll be the second to last video before Mania. We'll have an episode at Mania which will cover, or the show before obviously is going to be TakeOver. We'll have Mania itself. It'll either be in the same video or we'll do something different. We'll maybe take a look back and see who's had championship reigns from the start of the save in June right through until WrestleMania 37. But as always, thanks for watching. If you get any suggestions for WrestleMania, let me know. It's probably already been booked by the time this goes live. But hey, those ideas could get used in the future. So thanks very much for watching, and taking the time of your day to watch this episode. Please stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.